Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday. Welcome to November 2nd. 2 months left in 2020. Man, are we mostly looking forward to getting through this year? I know a lot of people are, but yet we still have some uncertainty and we got to get through the election and COVID's not gone. So hang with us as we get ready to talk about what some of those effects are going to be. What has the market done so far? And what do we think it may be doing with all the yet uncertainty to be discussed? So hang tight. Looking forward to my discussion with Dave today, and that's next.
5.7. Stefani's there. Good morning. Hello. I'm glad you're here today. We're at 8:39 now. It's 21 before 9. Check in on your money and see what's going on Wall Street. Phillip, Statler, and I were talking off the air about can't figure out why everything's green today, but there are theories abounding. Let's head downtown to the offices of Statler Financial Services, or maybe Phillip's undisclosed location this morning, because it is Monday. Phillip, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Dave. Hey, no, I am in the office this morning. Thursday and Friday, I will be working from home. I've got, we talk a lot about Ed Slott and his, continuing education. I have to be part of twice a year, and that's coming up the end of this week. So I will spend all day Thursday and Friday in virtual conferences with Ed Slott and his team to kind of get updated on what's happening in the IRA world, the 401k world, and specifically probably the CARES Act will come big into that conference.
I would imagine that makes you a more valuable advisor to your clients as well, so it's well worth excusing you periodically from our microphone for that purpose. Setting the table for this morning, it was an off day on Wall Street on Friday, a big off day on NASDAQ, down almost 2.5%. Dow lost 158. S&P was down by 40. NASDAQ's loss was 274 points. Mostly concerns over COVID, mostly concerns over the fact that ain't nothing going on in Congress because they're busy trying to con us into reelecting them. And we were expecting to start this morning out in a similar mood set, but all of a sudden we're going into green ink on the futures this morning, and all you and I could figure out is maybe they've already baked a Biden win in and they're starting to adjust their investments accordingly.
That's the only thing that I can really see right now, Dave, because, I'm seeing headlines that they think Biden's 10 points. Biden's 10 points ahead in the polls. I read a headline of it was either Goldman or JP Morgan thinking that, hey, if Biden wins, it's going to be good for stocks. So I'm seeing a lot of that baked into this. It's the only thing I can think of, given that the market is not just a little green. It's got some pretty nice green numbers right now, up almost 400 points on the Dow right now.
Absolutely. It's got to be said, something that we say on a regular basis in the bottom line. The market is not political in the process. Market does have a tendency to go up during Democratic regimes. It's also obviously gone up during a Republican regime. The difference is different stocks benefit depending upon which politician is in office. And some of my analysts are basically saying they got enough baked into the process where the investments have already been locked in, assuming a Biden win as to which stocks they expect to benefit there. And now they're just firming up their positions this morning early on.
That's one theory, and that could be very well be the case. We won't know until tomorrow. We probably won't know until Wednesday, right? How much uncertainty there is in the market, and how does that play out?
Absolutely. Though, once again, money just looks for places where it can meet other money and make more money. So it's got nothing to do with where the vote is from the stock market's players, because statistics indicate they probably tend toward being Republican for the most part, but they still want to make money no matter who's in charge. We don't have a lot of data coming out of the government today, but we do have some rather important construction spending numbers. From my calendar, it's not due until about 10 o'clock our time this morning. So we're kind of flying blind this morning. And what's funny as well, looking at the green ink on the futures, I don't have any good news on the news tidbits either. Norwegian Cruise Line announced that they're extending their stay-at-home we aren't sailing order until the end of until the end of December, which is prompting their stock price to go down. It looks like it's taking some of the other cruise lines with it this morning.
Yeah, I'm sure. We talked a little bit about last week in terms of the CDC, and actually maybe on one of the days you were out. The CDC trying to decide when they would lift the no cruise signal or whatever they had in place regulation. But because I know our governor, was pushing hard to help the cruise industry get going again, and so it's going to be interesting. So we're seeing one now push out till the end of December, which means that's probably going to follow suit with a lot of the rest of them.
Most likely. It looks like that's the expectation, because Carnival is right on Norwegian Cruise Line's tail on my big loser list this morning. The other bit of not so good news is out there is oil prices. Oil markets are expecting the European shutdowns, and they're all over the continent there, to cut back on the demand for oil, which is decreasing the price this morning, which ain't good for our oil industry as well.
No, it's not. And, we have seen all of last week, the price of oil continue to fall. And over the weekend, it took a pretty big plunge.
Yes, it did. What have we got in terms of individual company reports this morning? Is there any good news on that side of the fence?
There seems to be. And let's start out with Wingstop, because Wingstop, that's the restaurant, the chicken wing restaurant chain. And they announced, along with their earnings and stuff, they announced a special $5 per share dividend. So they had a pretty good quarter. Revenue was up, I think, about a third of about 30%. And then also their earnings per share were up substantially, not just for the quarter, but also year over year. Some pretty good numbers there for them. Now their stock is, at least the last number I had was not quite so good, down about 3%. And I think that's because, and I'm sure you probably realize this too, Dave, is that when people give a special dividend, like Wingstop is talking about here, it's taking money out of the capital account. And so that affects the share price, right? You would expect on a $5 per share special dividend that the stock price would drop $5 also, because that is coming directly out of the capital account as a special dividend from accumulated earnings. So they're getting hurt a little bit today, but they're up about 35% year to date.
Sure, that's a monster special dividend too on a per share price. I don't know what their stock price is like, but I'm happy with 50-cent special dividends on the dividend stocks that I get. And my Lord, $5 a share, that's borderline monstrous, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, they're expected to open at about about $120 a share. So it's almost about a 4% special dividend. Borders
on the monstrous in terms of size. Other good indications this morning.
So then we got some household names that everybody's going to recognize. We got Clorox. They have benefited greatly from COVID-19. And so they were up 90 cents better than expected at $3.22 a share. Revenue top forecast. They continue to benefit from COVID-19 and people staying at home and trying to keep everything nice and sanitized. So good for them. They are trading up today another 2.7% this morning.
Not bad. They're still hard to find their brand names in the grocery stores, so they're still selling like hotcakes, aren't they?
Yep, they really are. That and Lysol, man, you just can't find it.
No.
So then we'll switch gears and go to the cosmetics line. I guess people are still trying to stay looking good even though they're at home, Dave, because Estee Lauder had a great quarter.
I'm looking at them. I'm looking at their pre-market trading, and I'm assuming they had no bad news.
Absolutely no bad news. They beat expectations by 54 cents a share. They came in at $1.44. Revenue beat forecast. They increased their dividend by another 10%. That put it to 53 cents a share. So they let's see where they're at now. They're at 4.25% right now from where they started, and they're getting really close. Right now, they're at 229 a share. Their 52-week high is $236 a share. So they're getting pretty close to that 52-week high.
And when you start seeing 4% increases in the price of a $230-odd stock, that's a pretty impressive gain on raw dollars, too.
Yeah, it is. It is a nice little bump there. So then we were talking about oil. So let's go to Marathon Petroleum. They lost $1 a share in earnings per share, but that was 70 cents better than expected. Now their revenue came in below estimates, obviously, because of, we've just seen a lower demand this quarter continuing on. So they were hurt from that, but they are getting a nice little bounce this morning, up 1%, and they closed on Friday up 2.3%. So a nice couple of days back to back there for them.
Something impressed everybody because I have them on a losers list this morning. They really made a turn in the last 20 or 25 minutes, evidently.
Yeah, I guess so there. And so then I guess I got two more for you. AMC Networks. Now that's not the movie theater. That's the network, the cable network operators. They beat by 4 cents a share. Revenue exceeded their forecast. Also, they expect more and more subscribers to come online for them. And I don't have anything trading this morning. They haven't had a trade this morning, but they closed Friday down about 30 basis points. And then the last one I have for you is the trash business, so waste management. They beat
garbage business.
They beat by 7 cents a share. Revenue top forecast, which I would have thought maybe they would have taken a hit because commercial garbage I would have thought would have been on the lower end because they're not open as much. But I guess maybe they got contracts in place and that's probably helping them. And so they're trading. Well, they were up the last time I clicked, but now they're down 1/3% to 107.50 a share.
I've got about 85 different snarky remarks about the trash business during this year, but we'll let it sit at that. Setting the table again this morning, it was a red day on Friday, and for reasons unbeknownst to us, but we can only guess, looks pretty good going into the marketplace this morning. 45 minutes early, what do the futures look like, Phillip?
So let's look at this real quick. We forgot this, Dave. I was going to give you the monthly numbers, right? So we got October's numbers. The Dow was down 4.6% in October. The NASDAQ was down 2.3%, and the S&P 500 was down 2.8%. So everybody had an off October. So now let's look at where we are today. Like Dave said, everything is rosy, coming up green across the board. We've got the Dow up 1.4%. That's $372. We've got the S&P 500 up 1.1%, $36. We got the NASDAQ up a little over 0.75%, $86 for it. So good numbers there. We've got a good bounce on silver, up 2%, gold up 0.6%, and crude oil still getting hammered this morning. It's down to $35.50 a barrel. That's down almost 0.9%.
Yeah, Lordy, it's got to improve on the demand front before we're going to be able to see the prices go up, I'd imagine. World markets, I got green ink pretty much across the board. The Asian rim markets were all up by more than 1.5% in most cases. European markets are up by about 1.25% as well midway through their trading day, so there's some optimism out there. And sometimes you don't even know why it's there, which kind of leads into the notion of unbiased advice being important to anybody's portfolio, even when things are going green, because you can't always explain why it goes green. How do I find you in order to get the risk out of my retirement?
Hey, Dave, give us a call at 863-382-0037. Also, I haven't put it up yet, but on my website under the events tab, I'm going to put up a link to the replay for the webinar we did over the weekend about Decision 2020 and how it could affect your retirement. So I hope that you'll give me a little bit of time this morning to put that link up there, but look for it. Would love for you to jump on that webinar replay, and then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
All righty, and back here again tomorrow morning with an up-to-the-minute look as to what's going on in the pre-market trading. Phillip, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll catch you on tomorrow, all right?
All right, man. You have a great day.
Thank you. Be well. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services. Phillip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope you had a great weekend. Looking forward to the week ahead. I know there's going to be a lot of uncertainty when it comes to the market with the election happening tomorrow, and whether or not there's a clear winner by the time you and I go to bed tomorrow. That's the big uncertainty. So I hope that you'll join me again tomorrow as Dave and I hash out what's happening in the marketplace today. And then remember, sometime today, I'm going to put a link on my website for a replay of our webinar, Decision 2020, how it can affect your retirement planning. So look for that coming up soon. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.